Hello, welcome to another weekly update. Doing this one live today, just for fun. Why not? And I hope you're having a really good start to your week. I'm starting my week off right at the beginning, first thing Monday morning, cup of coffee, and a couple of things to talk through. It not been a very busy week in terms of announcements and things that have changed. Kind of holiday time. Tends to, all through August really, tends to be pretty slow with everything that's going on. But yeah, definitely a few things to talk about. We'll probably try and keep this one quite quick and kind of get through the announcements and let you get on with your week. So first interesting thing for me that happened was this arrived in the post. So MVP award status renewed for another year, which is very thankful. I'm very, very thankful for. I think 7 years now and not new news. It came in July, but one of the really nice things about the MVP award actually is that it gets announced in July, and then because they ship it all out and they ship it all out from Redmond, it takes a little while to actually get the pack in the post. So it's a nice surprise when it does come, kind of a month or so later. You get this nice box, and inside it there's a little glass ring to go on the award, a nice like a framed certificate signed by Satcher, and some other bits and pieces as well. And yeah, it's a really nice sort of recognition. Very grateful, and thanks to everyone in the community and in Microsoft who works to make that stuff happen. It's really good to see. Anyway, let's talk about things that have been happening in the Teams world and in the sort of developer space. First thing to talk through is a blog post I put out a couple of days ago around something that is coming soon to Microsoft Graph. So it's not here right now, but it is coming soon. And that's the ability to use sensitivity labels when creating teams in Microsoft Teams. What is this? So sensitivity labels are they're part of Microsoft 365. They're part of the security architecture around Microsoft 365. They're a way for administrators and organizations to classify different teams by kind of saying that some teams have sensitive content in them or different types of content, and then applying different rules around things like access control for those. So they're a good way of indicating the sensitivity of a particular team. And you can apply sensitivity labels to teams right now. What you can't really do is do that kind of programmatically through templates and possibly not Graph API. I'm not really sure. I haven't had a chance to try this out, because what's interesting actually, because I kind of putting this blog post together, I was looking through some of this stuff. If you go to the Graph REST API now and look at the documentation for creating a team, if you go and look, so when you create a team, you post you set a post request, and in the body of that post request, you describe the team using a team object. And that's exactly the same object type that you get back if you get a team as well using Graph. In that team object description, there is actually a classification property which looks like it describes the sensitivity label applied to the team. It is unclear to me, and I haven't had enough time to try it. Sorry, just like it's been just crazy busy. I don't know whether that classification property gets used or ignored if you post a team today and that's the thing that's coming, or whether actually it does already kind of work in Graph, and it's more that it's coming to Teams templates, which I had a look through the template stuff. There's no way to really do it in templates, I don't think. So the template functionality, being able to apply a sensitivity label to a Teams template, so every time you use that template, the sensitivity would get set. That is definitely new and coming. I'm a little less sure about the API call part of things, the Graph API call, because it looks like maybe that stuff's there already. Maybe it isn't though. Maybe that resource type is only being used on the gets and it's not being respected, if you like, on the posts. So either way, there's a roadmap item for this. You can go and find it in the Microsoft 365 roadmap. According to the roadmap, the estimated release date is September this year, so in a month's time. We'll see. Like, there's often, that might be when it goes GA, but actually it takes a long time then to roll out. So the rollout time is really what's important, because it's the rollout time that means whether or not it comes to your tenant and whether you can start using it. What is good to see, though, is that when it does come, it is going to come simultaneously to all the big clouds. So not just the kind of standard, the sort of one that you get if you don't make any other choices, sort of graph, but also the DoD one, the GCC and the GCC High one. completely makes sense. Sensitivity labels are super important to all clouds, particularly actually some of those more restrictive clouds. So that's good to see. It's good to see this kind of parity and things like the API coverage and the templates and stuff catching up a little bit. It's really important as new features come to the ecosystem and come to teams that there's parity amongst not just what you can do in the application, but also what applications can do on the API surfaces and other ways of achieving those same things, rather than just using the client each time, because there's lots of different use cases for doing things outside of the kind of first party application. So that's good to see. We're interesting to see kind of the next couple of months what that looks like as it rolls out. Other things that are happening. This is a good blog post. Let me share my screen so you can see what I'm seeing. So this is from No Jitter, and I put it in kind of. I think it's worth a read. Basically, it's not like direct interest to developers specifically, but I think it is kind of interesting, and it's interesting because if you followed what I've been talking about, the past, 6 months, maybe a year, you'll have seen me talking about team stuff, but also more and more talking about Azure Communication Services as an alternative, if you like, to achieving some of those voice and video functionality integrations and development solutions that have been tricky to do inside Microsoft Teams alone. It's interesting to see actually Microsoft pushing Azure Communication Services as a more of a CPaaS solution, and we see that with some integrations. Now we've seen the LinkedIn one recently. This is another one actually. It's Avaya. Avaya and Microsoft are partnershiping, and this is kind of interesting to me because if you look at what the details of the partnership. You can see it's a strategic partnership around CPaaS and other cloud communication services, and Avaya will now be able to offer its OneCloud CPaaS integrated with Microsoft Azure Communication Services. So this is kind of interesting because Avaya have a strong kind of presence in voice and in comms, and Microsoft want to get into that space. They want a bit more validity in that space for enterprises, but it really feels like Azure Communication Services and Avaya are going after the enterprise voice market, which is interesting to see because that's where Microsoft Teams plays as well, and Teams Enterprise Voice plays in this space. So I think it's really healthy. Don't get me wrong. I think this is a good move by Microsoft to almost diversify, if you like, your offerings and have a couple of different irons in the fire, if you like. But it's super interesting that Microsoft would even go down this road of partnering with another company in order to create something which, on the face of it, is a little bit of a competition to what Teams EV is. So yeah, I think this is really interesting. It'll be interesting to see how this works around contact centers. I think because Microsoft Teams has a strong kind of contact center offering and integration. I think Microsoft, Azure Communication Services. It'd be interesting to see how that works with Avaya and whether they then take that into contact centers. I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. But I thought it was a good read. I thought it was an interesting read. It's an interesting take on kind of where these things are going, where the market's going. So interesting one. All right, that's really it for kind of big news items this week. Just looking across the week and seeing what's coming. I'm going to be doing a video around Commsverse because Commsverse is coming up really soon. It's coming up in the middle of September, so it's less than a month away now. And so I'm going to be doing a video this week, really focusing on, I think the thing I'm going to be focusing on is around the hybrid experience. So Commsverse is going to be a hybrid conference, but what does that actually mean? Well, I'm going to dig into exactly what that does mean. So without spoiling the video, and also because I haven't really prepped it, so I'm not sure I can accurately answer exactly right now without any prep what it means to be a hybrid conference, but I know, because I've been talking to the organisers for Commsverse, I know they've got some really cool things planned. It really shows that they've thought about what a hybrid conference means rather than just kind of taking on the rhetoric and just saying, yeah, us too, of course we're hybrid, because you can attend remotely, and what does that mean? So they've actually really thought about a premier experience for both remote and in person in a way that works well together. So I thought it was worth putting a video together for. So that's my plan for this week, is to put that video together and do that. Other things I really want to do this week, kind of look forward to some of the other conferences as well that are happening, because conferences are now starting up all over the world. We've got ComsV Next as well coming soon. We've got the European Collaboration Summit coming in a couple of months' time. We've got South Coast Summit coming up. And there's all sorts of other regional events around the world. Obviously, we've got Ignite. Well, I say obviously, probably. I don't think it's been announced yet. But we've got no dates for it. But we don't, as far as I'm aware, there's been no announcement as to whether or not it's a virtual event or whether it's going to be some element of in-person. My personal take right now is that it feels like it's going to be a virtual event. I think if it was going to be in person, they would have announced it by now. But I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. But anyway, Ignite will be, if it happens at the same sort of time as last year, will be kind of, I think, November timeframe, I want to say. So we can expect announcements then as well. Don't know what particularly. We'll just have to wait and see. There's Microsoft have released a raft of new announcements recently, and I don't know whether we'll see more to do with the kind of hybrid working, return to work stuff, or whether we'll see Microsoft pushing in a new direction. Just going to have to wait and see on that. But yeah, there's plenty happening, but nothing short-term happening right now, if that makes sense. Everyone's on holiday. Everyone is kind of taking it easy. I think another couple of weeks, gets to September, everyone gets, back to school starts, everyone gets back and back into the office, either in person or remote. And that's when we'll kind of see things kick off again. So nice, easy one to start the week. But whatever it is you're doing this week, I hope you have a nice, easy week too, and not too crazy. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. We'll just have to see how it goes, right? And then whatever you're doing, though, I hope you have a good week, whatever it is, and a productive week. I hit the outro button, so it's time to go. All right, I shall see you later, and have a good week, and whatever it is you're doing, have a good one. Take care. Bye.